It was great. It was good. Good.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here and joining us. We are going to get started. Want to be respectful of everyone's time, both those of you who are here with us in the room, as well as our virtual audience. So want to get started with our program and with our live stream. For those in the room, please continue to help yourself to seconds of breakfast and coffee refills and juice and water. Please feel free to get up and do that. Today's session will be informal and will be hopefully helpful to all of you. My name is Laura Stewart. I'm the Vice President of Community Development with the Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce. I also have the pleasure of being the staff liaison for the Chamber's Healthcare Association, and I have a couple of my Healthcare Association Advisory Committee members in the room, and thank you guys for being here, and thank you for helping us as we plan this programming all year long. So welcome to our Practice Managers Roundtable. That's an element of what the Healthcare Association is producing. And today's session is presented by Brandywine Printing and Oasis Senior Advisors of North Georgia. And we'll hear from them in just a moment. But first and foremost, I wanted us to hear from our hosts. We're so grateful to Northside Forsyth for letting us be here on campus in person. So wanted to have COO of Northside Forsyth, Lynn Jackson, just say a few words of welcome this morning. Please join me in thanking Lynn for letting us be here today.
Let me be here. It's a pleasure to have you guys here. We're glad that you're here. And I'm glad that you're together this morning. I did want to say just one thing. I know it's on your mind, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. And that is, I know that the events of yesterday have to be weighing as heavily on you as they are on all of us. It's part of our family, of course, at Northside. And, you know, it's definitely part of the world you deal with every day. So I don't want to act like we aren't a little bit flustered by all that and that we're not a little scared, because we are. And, you know, it brings home a reality that none of us really want to think about. None of us want to really face. And unfortunately, yesterday, you know, we had to all face that. And, you know, but I wanted to say that, you know, I think that the thing to do, we gathered yesterday afternoon and prayed for, you know, the victims, their families, for the perpetrator, for, you know, for ourselves and our Northside team, and for medical practices all around the nation, because everybody's affected by this. And, you know, here we are. You know, I know that you all are trying to do good every single day, and you're trying to take care of your patients and your teams. And when something like this happens, it seems, and it is, incredibly senseless. You know, I'm not going to even try to think I can explain any of it. I can't. But what I can say is that, you know, my advice, when I met with, you know, about probably 50 or 60 of our team yesterday, you know, I asked them, what's your advice? What should we do? And it was interesting. A couple of people said, you know, give each other a hug. Make sure you love on each other. You know, be kind to one another, because A, we should be kind, but B, we need it. And so I'd say this week particularly, be extra kind to each other. You know, let each other talk about it, let each other feel it, and, you know, figure out, you know, we're vulnerable. That's all there is to it. We know it. We got to still find the joy in what we do. I think that we are joyful about, you know, every single day getting to do what we love. And don't let this steal your joy, is what I'd probably tell you. You know, continue to pray, please, for the people that have been so highly affected by this. And, you know, don't let this steal what you do. Make it count for something. You can't let one bad act make us worse. Then they win. We don't. And we know better than that, right? So I would say leverage, you know, the love you have for each other, your camaraderie, your joy in what you do, and hug each other, you know, and keep each other close. That's what I'm going to do. I'd like to hug all of you today, but, you know, I don't know you that well. Now, Derek and I can hug, probably. We know each other pretty well. And Eddie and I, and my little friend Matt, Lisa. I won't go on with the list. But I do want to say how glad we are that you're here today. And more importantly, that I'm glad at what you do every single day to help our collective community of patients together. You know, you're doing a great job. I'm glad that the Healthcare Association is here to help host events like this so we can keep getting better. It's hard what you do, and you know, getting little tips about how we could do it better is what it's all about. You know, keep doing more to make us better. So thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed today's event, and you know, that you really learn a lot, take it forward, teach other people, and you know, love on one another a little bit. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you again, Lynn. Well, as I mentioned, the sustainability of these roundtable sessions, and just like Lynn said, the ability for us to do business better, even when working on the care spectrum, is not possible without the investments of some local businesses who do want to invest in our healthcare industry. So I wanted to introduce today our presenting sponsor, Oasis Senior Advisors of North Georgia, and Laura Banner with Oasis Senior Advisors, to share just a little bit about what they're doing and to share about all of the goodies that are on your table. So please help me welcome Laura and thank her for participating.
I know, I realized. I was like,
Coordinated.
I love to say that was intentional, but it wasn't. So anyway, thank you so much, Laura. Thank you, Lynn, for hosting the event, and thank you to all of you for being here. My name is Laura Banner, and I'm the owner of Oasis Senior Advisors. I want to tell you a quick story because I only have a very short period of time. Just under 2 years ago, I was at work. I'm a neurology nurse practitioner, and I was doing my job. I was seeing patients, and my phone buzzed in my pocket. And after I finished with my patient, I walked out to the hall, and I looked and I realized I had missed a call from a family member. I returned the call, and what I found out was that a close family member had had a traumatic event that put them in the ER. Through the course of their recovery, they were not able to return home. And I received a phone call one day that said, all right, we're going to discharge your uncle in 48 hours. Where would you like him to go? And I was like a deer in headlights. I assumed because I was the member of the family that was in healthcare, I was the automatic go-to. And I assumed that many of you in this room have had similar calls. All of a sudden, I was forced to make decisions about things I had no knowledge of. Even though I had spent my entire career in healthcare, I didn't know the workings outside our building. And so I quickly had to get information, and I wanted to get it right the first time. And that's a lot of pressure. What I came to find out during that event was that I wasn't alone. Being in healthcare my entire adult career, I was maybe a little better prepared to help navigate some of the decisions I had to make. But it made me realize how the majority of people who find themselves every single day in a similar situation as the decision maker, they don't have a beginning of how to start to make decisions. You know, I've learned two things. You don't know what you don't know, and it's a lot. And every day, I find those two statements to be true. And with that, I opened up Oasis Senior Advisors North Georgia. We are a free service to seniors and their families. We connect them with whatever resources they need connecting to. We like to be the conduit to connect them because, as we all know, seniors are vulnerable to scams more than any other segment of the population. We do it a bit different than other companies. We are not the only company that does this service. With my medical background as a nurse practitioner, we approach every family from an understanding of why are they calling us? Because to date, no one has called and said, I waited my whole life to go into assisted living or memory care. And now I'm that age, so help me find the right one. It's always because of the fear that something is gonna happen or something has happened. So what we do is we approach it from a medical standpoint to understand what the individual's needs are today and future forward, so that we can find the best place for someone's loved one or an individual if we're directly interacting with them. I'd love an opportunity to present our program to all of your practices. Our brochure is on the table. If you call the number on the back, we would do a lunch and learn. We can come and bring information, answer any of your questions. Again, we are different. We all have the common goal of serving the greater public. And what I will brag on us for just a moment, we really understand utilization of resources, and our goal is to keep patients, and now we call them clients, out of the hospital, because no one does better going into the hospital. Hospital ERs are for life-saving events, but too often we find that people use them as primary care or just a place because the caregiver can't do it anymore. We do a great job of keeping families out of the ER when it's not necessary. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you to the Chamber. Thank you to Northside for hosting us. We appreciate it. Please give us a call.
Thank you, Laura. And I can relate to Laura, not just because I think she has a fabulous name, but because I tell my HCA Advisory Council members all the time that I know that on the Chamber staff, if something were to happen medically, everyone would look at Laura and say, well, she's the healthcare girl. And I worry a good deal about that. But I'm sharing that and being pretty transparent because I actually have a couple, in particular one board member with us who's here hearing me say this about my own role as a healthcare staff member. But I would like to introduce Chamber board member, but also owner-operator of Brandywine Printing, Derek Brooks, who is also helping us sponsor today's event.
Thank you, Laura. Who's controlling that camera? I like to move around and let you follow me. Just kidding. My name's Derek Brooks. I'm from Forsyth County. Anybody else from here forever? A couple of, well, if you don't know, this is what you would sound like if you were. So I own a company called Brandywine Printing. My dad started it here in the county in 1982, and we just help other organizations succeed. And we do it by either improving their image or making them more efficient with printed materials. We do. So improving their image would be like this retractable banner stand or a flyer or a brochure or something like that. And then the more efficient side would be like a form, an in-house form, or in your case, maybe referral pads, those kinds of things. So I was board chair of the Chamber last year, and I had the opportunity, well, I visit every organization that the Chamber hosts, and I came in here. And I didn't come in here on purpose. I actually went. I was like, how do I get in front of doctors' offices? We help a lot of doctors' offices. I'd like to be exposed to more. And she said, you need to come to HCA. And I said, well, all right. So then I came here and I said, wow, nobody knows that this secret room exists. This is pretty awesome. And so I said this year to Laura, I said, what do I need to do to come back? And she said, just buy them breakfast. So I did. So this morning I bought some of your breakfast. I did not buy the hash browns. That's not, I don't know, those came from somewhere else. But anyhow, I love that this is a marketing talk this morning. I live in the marketing world, and I just told you, I identify my market. Practice managers order from us every single day. So I've identified my market. I figure out how to get in front of them, and then I make it really easy. And the way that we made it easy for you to remember us is these little pads at the very bottom. It's got our web address, and you can contact everything you need to get a hold of us at Brandywine Printing is at that website. So anyhow, hopefully we can help you succeed by improving your image or making you more efficient with printed materials. Thanks for having us. And thanks, Lynn, for having us as well.
Thank you, Derek. So in addition to these two presenting sponsors that you have heard from, we also have some healthcare hero sponsors making today possible. Stretch Zone, as well as Apple Spice. And the hash browns did come from Apple Spice. So now we know where all the breakfast came from. So thank you. Please join me one more time in thanking all of these sponsors for today. And now I would love to introduce our facilitator. I mentioned a couple of Chamber board members in the room, and Lindsay Wilkes is one of these ladies. She is the Senior Vice President of Business Development at Orange 142. She leads a team of marketers from all over the country to create and execute regional and national advertising campaigns. She raised her hand, Derek. She's native to Forsyth County and currently lives in West Forsyth County with her family. As I mentioned, she serves on the Chamber's Board of Directors and is the business liaison to the Chamber's Executive Committee, but she's also a part of the Marketing Advisory Council for Forsyth County Schools and the Atlanta Metro Travel Association, as well as Leadership Forsyth, which is when she said was the first time she learned of this secret room. So you guys, please join me in welcoming Lindsay Wilkes today to facilitate our discussion.
Good morning. How are y'all? Good to see everyone. Thank you, Northside, for the secret room and for hosting us. And thank you to the Chamber, really, and y'all's dedication for putting events on of this nature. My hope today is that there is some sort of takeaway that everyone can pull away from this presentation. When you speak to a room like this, everyone's in a different place oftentimes with their marketing plans. So we are going to try and cover a lot of topics in a little bit of time. And if you would like to ask questions along the way, please do so. We can make this conversational, or you're welcome to hold your questions till the end. But marketing and advertising, I went to school for it for years. I've been doing it for over a decade, and I have sat in your shoes before. My first job at 15 was with a local orthodontist here, and that was a rite of passage for my sisters and I growing up. My mom ran the office staff there, and so we cleaned dental trays all summer long through high school, and that was my first little step into healthcare. Then after college, I started working with small businesses. My husband and I had just moved to St. Simon's Island, and Jekyll Island was in the midst of a massive business boom there and development. And we both had full-time jobs that still were not paying the bills. So I took up a little side hobby of helping all of these small businesses kick off their marketing programs. Had no idea how much work that was going to be, but it was nice to be young and make those mistakes using someone else's money. So marketing and advertising for healthcare businesses and organizations. Traditional advertising, Mr. Derek Brooks does some of these things very, very well. This is what in the advertising agency we call traditional. Digital and traditional are our two primary forms of advertising. You've probably done several of these: billboard, radio, newspaper, magazines, direct mail, partnership events, community events, trade shows. Raise your hand if you've participated in traditional marketing for your business. Very good. This is a very short list of the 7 most common types of digital marketing. And this is really what my team and my company specialize in. But I have much experience on the traditional side prior to my time at Orange 142. So this is where people seem to get caught up a lot of times, is on the digital end. So we will focus on this primarily today: SEO, content marketing, social media marketing, mobile push messages that go out, email, Google Analytics. Anybody think that's a dirty word in the room? And then obviously pay-per-click, which is search engine marketing and advertising in that space. Let's start from the very beginning. So your website with digital, all roads lead there, right? So your positioning statement, your why, your how, your mission is the most important thing to see right when people land on the website. And it's not just, this is the care we offer, this is the services we offer. I think in a local community setting, people really want to know the why, just like you did such a great job with saying, this is why I started Oasis. That means a lot to all of us. A lot of us are locals. A lot of us have lived here for many years. We want to know the why. Why are you doing this? What motivated you to start this business organization group. Why do you exist? How do you help care for our community? What is the story behind the practice and what should the audience know? Then obviously key details that also need to be on the site: providers, hours, information, contact forms. Some people have relatively simple websites. Some practices have pretty complex websites with user logins on the back end, and it can go on and on. But with almost every aspect of healthcare being mission driven, it's important to have your why out there first and foremost. And you can put this in other places outside of your website. This can live in your primary headers on social media. This can live in your email advertising that goes out if you have a routine email schedule. This can live in so many places for you, and your patients or your clients will appreciate it. This is a very cheesy slide, but I thought I would throw it in here just for authenticity purposes, and I know what I'm talking about when it comes to advertising. These are the 4 A's of marketing statements: authenticity, authority, aspiration, and affinity. I think having authority in any space that you're in is probably the most important A here. I can do this for you. I can do it well. You can trust our practice. Having that authority and that backhand message within the content that you push out is important. Let's spend a little bit of time here, because as we look to where you're pushing your marketing out to, you want to think about building the framework behind what your positioning statement, your messaging is. Who in this room has an annual written marketing plan with line items and budgets and actual plan details of, this is what I have to spend, this is how we're going to spend it? Okay, totally normal. This is where I hope that maybe a year from now we're back in this room and you all can sit there and say, okay, I have sat down and I have zeroed in and I have formed a plan for what I'm going to do. Because the thing about marketing and advertising is that you all wear many hats and you are running businesses, and it can sometimes fall to the wayside. Just like anything else, having a plan, sticking to the plan is the best way to produce long-term results. And if not, it can be very sporadic. You could say, oh, we're going to do a big Facebook push this month, and then it'll drop off, kind of like we were talking about. You want to pick channels, stick to those channels, give them a good try, evaluate if they worked for you, and then change gears if not. But just like everything else with marketing and advertising, you need lead time. You can't expect for it to work overnight. You have to give it time, have a clear, defined goal in mind of, this is why I'm doing this, this is the key performance indicator I'm looking for, and whether or not you are reaching those metrics and it's working for your business. So target audiences. You all know who your primary patient, client, customer would be. Carving those out, write it down. Say, this is going to be my marketing plan for the year. This is my target audience. I am looking for people who don't know what to do with their elderly parents, or people who have gotten to a place in their life where they need senior care, they need memory care, they need help and assistance. I am looking for those people to help them. Write that down. Your positioning statement, we covered a bit in the last slide. I offer blank service for target market to help with blank. Unlike the alternative, we key differentiator. You can use this template to really describe and create your positioning statement in an easy way. Choose the look. We're going to talk about this quite a bit today because there are many ways to promote your brand. You've got logos, you've got colors, you've got different platforms, you've got what your website looks like. There are a lot of things that people miss in asset building that I want to touch on today that you need to have in your arsenal to be able to be flexible and modify plans as you go along. A slogan is a nice to have asset, it's not a must have. This isn't necessarily the flash dance. We don't need to be like, you know, a jingle from a car commercial. But if you have, you know, a logo and a slogan, it's not a bad thing. And then for the application, these are the channels you choose to start developing your presence on that should play to your strengths and your knowledge and what you are willing to invest time learning in. Be intentional and strategic in your learning and lean into the spaces where you feel most comfortable and you feel like you can measure your KPIs. So starting off with choose your look, creating your brand look. Most of you probably already have your branding put together. You have your assets, like I mentioned, you have your logo, your colors, your website. If you don't, that's fine too. Those are all things that there are generator tools online that you can utilize to help you get that moving more quickly. This is also where print comes in. You want to ensure that your branding is the same across everything that you do. To make your life easier, when you have your logo made, have it made in a variety of shapes and sizes. Get the square, get the longer rectangle, because there will be different programs and platforms that require different sizes. Images and assets. Who has an image library of photography and or video that you've invested in? This is one of the biggest speed bumps that I hit with clients on a national level is, okay, they say we might have a $50,000 or $25,000 advertising budget for the year, and we're ready to run some Google display ads, and we want to run some social media ads as well. And we say, awesome, send us your image library, and we'll help you pull those together. And there is no image library. So this is a client of mine. This is Prisma Health out of South Carolina. These are images that they commissioned a photographer to take. These are not real patients in the beds. These are other staff members who willingly signed the agreement to be involved in this photo shoot. And images like these go so far in your digital programs, and you can manipulate them and use them in so many different ways. You can sometimes create video content with them. Having an image library and investing in your assets will take you very far. If you don't have the budget or the resources available for this, I have a solution for you for that. Free content, I don't know if you can even see this bottom corner. Free content creation tools and stock images are available on Canva. Has anybody used Canva? Oh, awesome. So y'all know, it's a really, really great, free, simple tool to grab images like these if you can't commission a photographer. And if you want this deck at the end, I'm happy to send it around. We've got the PDF of it. So, target audience, being seen and being heard. Before you start making any decisions about how to promote your healthcare business or organization, it's important to understand the current market and your potential patients. Google your service category and analyze the direct and indirect competitors that come up. I already heard from some conversations through breakfast that people are actively doing this, which is great. Talk to people who are part of your patient group. Ask them what stands out about the marketing in your space or how they found you, and even better, why they chose you. How did you end up here? You need to be actively surveying your patients to figure out the route that they took to get to your business. Because oftentimes in healthcare, it is a referral business, and things are coming in from referral purposes. So then you look at it and say, what's the purpose of the advertising plan? Why do I need this marketing plan? And maybe the purpose is just for brand awareness, for the community to know that you're here. Or maybe it goes a little bit further through the marketing funnel, and it's meant to have a conversion at the end of people actually coming to make an appointment and finding you through the internet. There are different tactics for each part of the funnel, from brand awareness, where you can look at things like billboard, commercial ads, social media ads sometimes, down the funnel toward, if you're looking for a conversion point, if you're looking for a new patient to find you on a search engine like Google, book an appointment through your website, then you follow the funnel down accordingly. Look at the relevant social media accounts or pages your target audience follows and are receptive to. Social media and healthcare has been wild the last 3 years. And thank you all also, I should have started with this. Thank you all for serving our community, in particular in the last 3 years. I mean, it has not been easy. I'm the only person in my family who does not work in healthcare. So I've seen it firsthand, what everyone has gone through in this room, and the fact that you're still showing up ready to learn about marketing. I mean, kudos to everyone in this room. So who's seen the viral TikToks or Instagram videos of the doctors dancing or putting on a show, or the ladies in the office staff in their scrubs? Love to watch those, love to see those. They're not for everyone. They're not for every office. They're not for every practice. Do they translate into direct business? My guess is if it's for cosmetic things that people would travel for, if it's for dental procedures or plastic surgery, maybe it has had an incredible impact on their bottom line. Maybe it's been picked up by PR in their local news and it's gotten them some earned media through the press. Are you necessarily going to see a huge business boom if you start producing videos of this nature? Maybe not. Will you relate more to your clientele, or maybe bring in someone who has never thought or considered that healthcare could be fun, or that an office situation could be fun? Yes. Don't feel like you have to catch every viral trend that is happening. A lot of marketing and advertising is very flashy. That's why people like it. They like that it's flashy and that it's shiny and that it's bright. But at the core, in my 10 years of agency work, the core of marketing and advertising is actually very solid, and it's fluid, but it's stable. And having the stable pieces in place are more important than having the flashy, glittery things. Who struggles with SEO and their website? Yeah. I am not going to lie to you. I know just enough to be dangerous, but I'm in business development, so that's kind of the nature of what I do. These are, hopefully will be helpful to you all. These are free tools to check the health of your website. Google Page Speed Insights, SEMrush. We use SEMrush almost every day in my company. Google Mobile Friendly Test. You can log into these, you can plug your website in, and you can get a free SEO report to see how you're doing. And I'm not going to lie to you, when you get that report back, it's going to have a ton of technical jargon in it that you probably won't understand, because I understand maybe 20% of it. But the most important thing to look for is the overall score that it's going to give you. If your website is operating in a place where it's showing that it's slow to load on mobile, or if it's showing that your site health is sitting at 50% or 60%, then you might need to go back to the website company that built the site in the first place, or you might need to see a professional SEO team to get that back active the way that it is. A very average score for SEO reports to generate that shows that a website is doing well would be 75 to 80%. you very rarely see 85% and above. So if you do rank at that, consider that to be like an A++ when you go in there. Mobile friendly. Most of your traffic is likely coming, unless it's from referral business where people are sitting at their desktop computers. More than likely, I don't ever see websites where there is less than 50%, if not 70% of all traffic is coming in from mobile devices. So ensuring that all of your assets and that your website is completely optimized for mobile is going to work wonders for how much time people spend on that. Google My Business Profile. Has everyone set this up? This is available on Bing as well, so that not just to focus on Google. When you type in a practice name, so if I typed in Brandywine Printing, let me pick on Derek. If I type in Brandywine Printing into Google in the search bar, this should come up on the side here. And that is your Google My Business Profile. This is one of the most important things that you can control for free within the search engine platforms. On Bing, this is called Places for Business. And you can control the photos, you can change the hours, you can answer questions. This is so imperative. I want to get people to my partners' locations in 2 clicks. I want them to Google it, see this, click on directions, or click on the website. When thinking about digital advertising, you want to think about the shortest route to get people there. And this is imperative. So I thought I would use the lovely Forsyth County Chamber as the example for job well done with the Google My Business Profile. Let's keep going. All right, acquisition overview. Who has dabbled in Google Analytics? Anybody? Okay. So this is kind of the end all be all for reporting systems as it is right now. Google Analytics is a skill that you can teach yourself if you have the time to watch some YouTube videos about it. But what it is it's a tag that goes on your website where Google tracks where all of your users are coming from. So when you go to the source medium category, I can go into any of my partners' websites and I can see exactly where their traffic is coming from. I can see if it came from other partner sites. I can see if it came from their social media pages. I can see if it came organically through the search engines, if it was a direct visit link. This information is like gold because it speaks to your annual marketing program. And it speaks to, this is what's working, this is what's bringing people to my website. So even if you've never tried this before, I highly, highly recommend have your website company, they will know. If you have a website vendor that you work with, have them get Google Analytics set up. There's the newest program, it's GA4. Have them set this up on your websites for you and figure it. I taught myself. I went in, I had a client, I went in the back end of the website, looked at Google Analytics, and I just started clicking on all of the columns and categories. And I just went through them one by one, and I'm like, what is this? This was probably 12 years ago. And eventually, I realized, oh, this is probably the coolest thing I've ever seen. This is showing me exactly my geographic market. This is showing me trends on age groups and demographics that are visiting this website. This is showing me the referral traffic and where they're coming from. So if I just placed an ad with Atlanta Magazine and they're running a digital component with it, I can see how much traffic came from that ad buy. This is really the end all be all, and it will help you so much in building what we want to build in the next year, that annual marketing program, because it's going to show you what's working and what's not. recruitment marketing, the topic of the last 3 years with any single one of our healthcare clients. It has been wild out there with recruitment marketing. We have tried just about everything that we have in our book for our clients. We have some senior living clients throughout the country. We have several hospital, huge groups, Prisma. We work with Atrium Health out of Charlotte. And when the pandemic happened, we all said, oh my word, we have never been in a situation like this before. How do we handle this gracefully? And how do we not mess this up? And then a few months later, no one cared at all if we were doing brand awareness, if we were successfully marketing the hospital in a good light or the senior living care center in a good light anymore. It immediately turned to, we need to focus every single one of our dollars and every single one of our efforts on recruitment. And we said, okay, let's go for it. So we started to target people based on their job description. There was a period in time where we were targeting the state of New York because they were firing any healthcare employees who were not rushing in to get their COVID shots. So we said, okay, let's pivot. Let's look at New York. Let's see if we can offer them some relocations to come to Charlotte, North Carolina, or Greenville, South Carolina. I don't think that the relocation worked as well as we would have liked for it to. I think that was a big ask in the middle of a pandemic. It's not just asking people to switch jobs and move to a different hospital. It's asking them to pick up your whole life and move to a new state that maybe you've never even visited before. So we pivoted again and we said, let's look at new grads. Let's look at people who have formerly maybe been on the travel circuit, who are looking for something to maybe settle down in these regions. We got hyper focused on the geography of where we want it to be. And we started serving ads like crazy. And our partners started hosting hiring events that were just ongoing constantly. And then when we aligned efforts to promote those hiring events, with them getting people there on site, that's when the magic started to happen and it all started to come together and work for them. This right here is a Google Display Network ad. You don't need a fancy agency to run this for you. You can learn the Google Display Network yourself and you can run these ads and you can track them yourself. This is what it looks like on a programmatic website. So you'll see the ad format exactly the same. These are just two healthcare examples I wanted to throw up here for y'all. This was one of the landing pages, and this was something I thought Prisma Health did that was really brilliant during, this is still active. We're still running these campaigns to this date. But look at how many entry points there are to learn about active jobs. So we send traffic to this hiring page. At the top of the screen, learn more about upcoming events by clicking here. There's another entrance. You scroll down the page, the events are listed there, and then there's a chat widget. Hi, are you looking for a job? Every single place that anyone would look on this website, this works on mobile and on desktop. They were there and they were ready for someone to communicate with them about job opportunities. And I thought this was a really, really great example of a landing page to show y'all. We are flying through this. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay. Please feel free to speak up if you do. Or if you want to focus on a particular topic, I'm happy to circle back. So 6 actionable steps for success. We already covered that we wear a million hats during the day. We're parents, we are business leaders, we are volunteers, we support our community. There are a million things that we have to get done. This is why you need a plan. Your marketing plan can be as easy as an Excel sheet, as a Word document. If you can just start somewhere, you can also Google marketing plan templates and find something and grab that and use it as your own. What I often see with dollars is people come for a sponsorship and they're like, hey, let's sponsor this event. It'll be $5,000. And then you go, okay, and maybe I spent $1,000 on Facebook last month. I don't know, I gotta go in there and double check. Having your budget separated out makes it a lot easier to say no to things that might not always serve you as well. I highly recommend keeping a small budget each year for the health of your website, because a lot of people let that fall to the wayside. People buy their websites, and for whatever reason, the company that sold it to them do not sell the care and maintenance package that needs to come afterwards. It should come with ongoing SEO. You should be signing an annual contract for hosting, SEO, maintenance of the site, because if there's one thing we know about technology, it never stops. It never slows down. There's always a new platform. And if Google upgrades their browser and you can no longer be seen there, your website will break. And you need to have that ongoing partnership to make sure that that doesn't happen. So the 6 actionable steps are: create assets, find assets, or find someone to create assets for you, hire a photographer, get a release and print it out, have everyone involved in the shoot sign the release, and then file those assets and never lose them. You can repeat, make them evergreen so that you can use them for years and years to come. Choose a few marketing channels and commit to consistency. So don't try to do everything all at once. You will burn out and it's not going to work. Say, this year I'm going to improve our search engine marketing, our Google pay-per-click ads. We're going to really go in, we're going to bid, we're going to be at the top of the page, and we're going to see how that works for us. Or I'm really going to go all in on having a regular email advertising schedule where I'm building this database of people and referrals and leads, and I'm going to get an email out to them every other week that's designed. You can even sometimes use the same content multiple times. You build out 3 months worth of content, and then you can rotate it throughout the year. Track your open rates, track your click-through rate, all of those types of things. Author blog posts or social posts related to topics in your niche. Publish them on your website, in email outreach, and in social media posts, if possible. Y'all are experts in your field. And content, this is very cliche, but content is king. Content is king with the search engines. Content is king with your website. If there's a place in your website where you can routinely keep these posts published, author a blog post, put it through an AI generator. Write your thoughts down, send it through ChatGPT. Y'all, let the AI fine tune it, then go back, double check that everything is accurate. Don't ever let AI do anything for you without double checking that it still sounds like a human wrote this. And publish those. Publish them as often as you can. You want people to spend time with your brand. And the best way to get them to spend time with your brand digitally is to create the content for those to consume. And don't be afraid to push it out to local sites on social media as well. You write a great blog post, post it within the local groups in the community. Get your content out there. Don't be afraid to share it. Ask your friends and family to share it. You've put work into that. There's no shame in promoting, especially the type of business that you all are in, which is care. It's health care for our community. Build an ongoing marketing plan. How many times can I say that during this presentation? Engage with other people's content within your community. I think you should do this with both your friendly neighborhood businesses and your competitors. There's no reason why you can't play nice digitally online, and maybe when somebody's checking out your competitor, they might see a friendly comment that you've left there and click on your business instead. There's no shame in that game. Learn what you can, outsource what you don't have time for. My overtime. Okay. Questions?
Yeah, I was gonna say, any questions for Lindsay? And I'll make the ask to our virtual audience as well. They can type those questions in. Got a question over here. I am gonna ask, I should have disclaimed this, I guess, from the get-go. For our virtual audience, we have a mic up here and a mic in the back, so if you have questions, please do use the mic. We'll bring it to you.
What is your thought about billboards? Is it just for brand awareness, or do you see there's actually conversion with using the billboards?
I think that billboards have a place in a local community where your business is local. There will often not be any opportunity to track if they've brought people into your business. I do believe that billboards work as part of a multi-platform strategy for marketing because they're not cheap. So yes and no. If you have a strong presence in your search engine, and when they Google you, or when they go to Bing to find you after seeing the billboard, then yes, do the billboard. If you've got good reviews, if they immediately pull it up and they say, oh, this is so easy, here's their Google My Business, I'm gonna give them a call right now. Yes, do a billboard, but make sure you have how you look when they go to find you set up first.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Morning. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Would you spend a lot of time going out to events, handing out flyers, brochures, shaking hands? Or do you think time is better spent on social media, website, where you can get more reach?
I think you have to blend your days. I think you have to do both things. I'm in business development, so I go out, I shake the hands, but then I sit down and I go back to my CRM system and I spend 3 hours getting organized for the day. I think that that same sort of routine applies in all businesses. And I know that this isn't probably a direct yes or no answer that you would want from this question, but you can't beat a face-to-face personal experience with getting someone in the doors of your business. I tell my staff, my team every day, how many people did you get in front of this week? But yes, make the hours possible to spend. Social media is a different game than it used to be. You can spend a lot of money and not get a lot of traction there anymore. So maybe you don't need to spend as much time. Same as what I just mentioned with her. As long as your website and search engines are clean and where they need to be, I would be better. I think that you would be better off shaking hands than sitting on Facebook all day trying to run ads.
Yeah, one trick I like to do is go on Nextdoor, Facebook, go on the local sites and search a topic that people have been discussing, like where to find the best doctor, best pediatrician, and then provide the answers if I have them. Because that's the receptive crowd, right? And all those people in that group, it could be hundreds, will get a notice that there's been a new post. And now you've provided a solution for them. So
Sure.
that's one thing I do.
I love that, sourcing the community groups, because we have a lot of very strong community Facebook groups within the county. Some of them more friendly than others, but yes.
It's political.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yes, I love that commenting, and that kind of hit on my last point of interact within your community as much as you can. That is something that is so quick and easy that you can even do when you're on the run. You get somewhere 15 minutes early, you're in your car, pull up your Facebook pages, see what you can do really fast. LinkedIn is also a spot where you can maybe explore some of that.
One follow-up question. After an event, we're hosting an event at the health center on June 2nd at the Forsyth County Health Department. what should you do after that? Because a lot of people are on this high, like, hey, we had a great event, but now I feel like, okay, you got people now hot for your ideas. You can't just rest on your laurels and say, okay, on to the next thing. You should strike, right, when the irons are hot. So what do you do after?
Oh, you gotta strike. We do a multitude of things because I work for a massive advertising agency. So we go to an event like that. We run Google ads while we're there. We do retargeting for 30 days post-event. If anyone has their mobile phones turned on, we will be targeting them with ads for 30 to 60 days after the event. We send email blasts. Did you get a list of attendees from the event that you put on? Did you get their contact information?
We just literally got the okay yesterday, so no, I haven't yet.
Make them sign in. Get that first party data. Make them sign in when they arrive. Name, email, all you need. Send an email afterwards. Keep the conversation going there. Add as many people on Facebook and LinkedIn as you can. Stay in touch that way. Absolutely striking while an iron is hot is key.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Right. Any other questions in the room? Okay. Well, please join me, everybody, in thanking Lindsay for her time today. Thank you so much. And I'm going to use the event segue and say we've got an opportunity for you to shake some hands coming up. Compliments of the Healthcare Association. So if you will, on your tables, there's a QR code for you to register. Also for our virtual audience, they're welcome to use this one here on the screen. Jazz in June is back. It is a long-time Healthcare Association networking event that we have not been able to do in a long time. So if you were able to be part of the Mingle Jingle last December when we were able to bring that networking at night back, this is the summer version of that very festive holiday event. We're so excited. We'll be here Wednesday, June 14th from 5 to 7 p.m. At Northside Hospital for Sites Women's Center Galleria, so just down the hall for those who are here in the room with us. Please mark your calendars, plan to come. Like I said, there will be some hands to shake there. Again, I want to thank all of our sponsors and Lindsay for making today possible. We are going to go ahead and close up our live stream. For those in the room, we do have a few fun giveaways to end our morning with. So thank you to our virtual audience. And if my sponsors could join me.